Hiroaki Omote was born in Osaka, Japan, in 1962. He began training in Shugendo as a mountain priest when he was 3 years old and succeeded as the 80th successor of ancient Shinto YAMAKAGE in 2016. He is a promoter of the Neo-Japanesque Promoting Conference, which started at the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. He has developed Kagura, a sacred Shinto music and dance, and has held art exhibitions all around Japan. In 2019, he had an audience with the Christian Pope of Rome and performed Sosei Kagura at the Piazza St. Agostina, at the music hall of the Music School of Rome Curia. He has introduced and promoted Japanese ideas and the way of life based on the ancient Shinto, Yamakage, in order to accomplish a more peaceful world, Miroku. To achieve that mission, he is devoted to spreading the ultimate mantra, Achimarikamu, to the people of the world. Achimarikamu is a divine incantation passed down in Yamakage Shinto, a form of ancient Japanese Shinto, written in the kamio script known as Akiru characters. The word Achimarikamu is the first word spoken when the utopian planet Earth was created by the will of the gods of creation. In other words, this word represents the truth of heaven and earth. In faith practices of the new era, after Noah's Ark, this word has been transmitted in the form of the Hebrew prayer, Avinu Malkeinu, found in the Old Testament. And it is said that the content of this prayer means, "Please govern us well." By chanting it, it is believed to invoke the power of harmony between heaven and earth, and to correct the disturbed order of the earth, making it a great divine incantation. Long ago, Amano Tokutachi no Kami, who created the earth, retired from governing it at the request of humans. We humans are descendants of the divine wisdom created by the gods, and the great God accepted the advice of his own children, watching over their evolution while protecting the corners of the world considered the devil's gate. However, Amano Tokutachi no Kami, knowing that the world would eventually fail, entrusted the word Achimarikamu to the emperor and kings of the world as a responsibility for having created the earth and left everything to humanity. These words are meant to be prayed when the existence of the earth can no longer be sustained due to human ego. We cannot preserve the world with our own hands. Please come forth to bring the harmony back to our earth. It is said that if the god hear our asking through chanting this mantra, Achimarikamu, after the final judgment, a Miroku era will come, where even plants and trees rejoice. The earth is indeed facing a real crisis now. That is why Mr. Omote wishes that those who become aware of that will chant it as the ultimate heart sutra. Making public the previously unknown word, Achimarikamu, and informing the world of it is Omote's mission as the successor of the 81st generation of Yamakage Shinto. People who resonate with this movement are appearing from various parts of the world, and the circle of support is spreading widely, like ripples on the water. Now, let's listen to the message by Omote Hiroaki to the people of the world.
Hello everyone, I'm Omote Hiroaki. I'd like to talk about world peace. First, history. The history I've learned through ancient Shinto and Shugendo differs in parts from the history taught in schools. I believe it's crucial to understand that history has likely been rewritten many times throughout the ages, shaped by the circumstances of each era and social phenomena. Turning our eyes to the true history and accepting it within ourselves is what will lead to the consciousness reform needed for the future. Then, as humanity, meaning the 5 races, developed, and now in this era where each country exists, it seems as if everyone is divided. I actually think this is not good. Considering the original beginning, where fundamentally everything came from one place, and then people settled in various places and became different races, thinking about this grand flow, we need to reweave history. Originally, and this is after the story of Noah's Ark, most of the world was covered by sea. Various ships, royal vessels, set out to traverse these waters. As they crossed the oceans, the peaks of mountain ranges came into view, and they landed atop these mountain ranges. Land, like today's plains, didn't exist back then. It was in such places that people, now called mountain ascetics, first began living in those mountains. From there, they gradually built cultures and civilizations. The land expanded, and the world became what it is today. And in reality, this kind of flow has repeated itself many times on this earth. That's how the earth itself came to be. The deity who first created the earth is called Amekuni Tokotachi no Kami. There was a god of heaven and a god of earth. This appears in the myth of the time before heaven and earth were separated. In ancient myths, heaven and earth were still fused as one existence, a chaotic, muddy state. Then, as things clearly rose upward and sank downward, heaven and earth separated, and from there, the earth was created. And in this flow, we must return to the original starting point, to the fundamental question: why did they go to the trouble of separating heaven and earth to create the planet Earth? So then, was this about wanting to build a prison? No, it was about wanting to create a utopia, to bestow bliss. That was the very first intention. It's actually a concept expressed in the Bible, but at some point in history, this changed. It's said to have transformed into what exists and what is to exist. As a result, we humans were given the mission from God to create a utopian land that bestows bliss. The first to receive this baton were the kings. In Japan, we call him the emperor, but as those kings established territories here and there and distributed land to their relatives, each ruled as king over their own domain. Thus, kings came to fulfill distinct roles in each land, and numerous royal houses emerged. The rise of many kings led to a situation where war broke out as they vied for dominance. But you see, tracing it back to its origin, all the imperial family members are fundamentally one, and the divine command given to them by the gods, "Make this earth a utopia," is actually what is being sought of you all in this lifetime. It is this sacred mantra, Achimarikamu. This sacred mantra actually represents the principle of heaven and earth. In other words, it is a secret code expressing the reason, the explanation for why heaven and earth were separated to create the earth, or why a utopian place was created. When creating the earth, the gods of heaven and earth became one, and the words chanted at that moment of creation were this, Achimarikamu. Therefore, this is truly the title of utopia, regardless of whether one believes or not. It is said that this Achimarikamu will inevitably manifest miracles. Since the royal houses of all worlds originate from one source, the members of these royal houses must actually chant this secret phrase. It is the very first promise made with the gods. This was kept within the imperial house, locked away, and what could not be revealed to the world is now finally being announced. Having succeeded as the 81st head in YAMAKAGE Shinto, I am now undertaking the mission of widely publicizing this Achimarikamu to the world, announcing it. This is the Achimarikamu mantra movement. Please remember once more that everyone's happiness is part of the divine plan. The world was created this way to foster happiness, to build utopia. and I believe there are royal families, especially current nobles. It is precisely the royal families and nobles who have the mission to chant Achimarikamu. Unless they awaken to this, the world will not achieve peace. That is why I am now working to spread this throughout the world. Everyone, please chant the words of Achimarikamu, regardless of whether you believe or not, regardless of whether you know it or not. 31 times each morning and evening. Miracles will surely occur. This is what was originally given to the royal family by God. Yes, having explained Achimarikamu to you all, please practice chanting it 31 times. Thank you for your cooperation.